Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning into Zen's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're talking about Return of the Evening Star. I will say I did have a lot of difficulty putting my thoughts on this book to paper. Um, I'm still having a little difficulty even now. I've probably stopped and started recording this review about 3 times now. um, and the same happened when I was trying to type the review. I would start it, didn't like anything about what I was saying, delete it, and start it again, read it. Probably did that about 3 times as well. Hand wrote it, still don't like what I hand wrote. It's just, this has not been an easy book for me to review, and I can't really pinpoint why, because I ultimately did like the book. I did. Um, I liked book 1, this is book 2, and I just having a real hard time articulating how I feel about this book. So bear with me. I apologize if this video is not up to par with my usual standard. So the novel follows Chloe. Um, she's our main protagonist, really. And her mother is lying in a kind of a coma in a hospital. Now, the hospital itself is corrupt. They send out ambulances to intentionally hurt people. You know, the ambulances run people down. Why? So that the hospital administration can extort money from the patient's family. It's just like, okay, your family's here. We need this much money to keep them, healthy, alive, really. Because what this novel shows us is once they stop being able to pay, the hospital stops caring, lets the patients die, and chucks them. Pretty horrible, right? And so Chloe's just very, very worried about her mother, especially because her uncle, who was going to sell her off, I think in the first book he did sell her off. Her uncle is a bastard, and he now works from the hospital as an ambulance driver. And he just ransacks people's homes as well. He just steals whatever he can. He has a minor perspective in this story. I don't think it was necessary. I don't think we needed to see the story from the uncle's perspective. I mean, he gets like one scene. Why? I guess it was just to drive the plot forward, but it felt very much like that because he's not a character I care about. You know, he does meet his just desserts by the end of the book, and that's fine, you know? You get to see that from Chloe's perspective and her mother's perspective. That's good. Because again, he's a bastard. As for all the others, the story does branch out of Chloe's perspective. I think what I had a hard time reconciling with this novel, probably why it seems like a novel intended for juvenile readers. I would say middle grade children's lit. That's not how the novel is categorized. It's categorized as young adult. So, there is this distinction between young adult. You've got juvenile fiction, middle grade children, those are all wrapped up together. And then you have young adult, and then you have new adult, which is a new category that's popping up that is entirely valid because there are a bunch of books in young adult that I would say are more new adult. So there's that. The novel's categorized as young adults. So I would say that's probably ages 13 and above. This is a book really, it just feels, as I was reading it, I felt like it it is garnered towards children readers. Not just because your protagonist is a kid. It just felt, gosh, I'm going to say this and it doesn't sound bad. It felt very one-dimensional as I was reading it. And I don't remember feeling that way about the first book. I feel it's a good book. I did enjoy reading it. Don't get me wrong. I just think it was lacking something. And this is probably why I've had such a hard time writing this review, because I can't really pinpoint what it's lacking. It just, I feel like some of the dialogue, especially between the older characters, because again, you've got the artist, he just goes by the artist, Silas Stargazer, you've got the carpenter, you've got the baker lady, I can't remember her name. You've got, you're even in the mouse's perspective at one point. But I feel like they all came across as very one-dimensional. It lacked substance for me, I guess you could say. Personality. I enjoyed it because of the themes, I guess. It does talk about, you can definitely tell that the story is about, deforestation and animal, what did I write down? I should just always grab my notebook before I start these videos. Let's see. Preservation of animal wildlife. Yeah, definitely. You can definitely tell that the novel is talking about that. It's about corporate greed, about greediness, period. But I felt like it was trying a little too hard to be like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, with all the, talking animals going to war with the humans. It was just, it didn't have the heart. It just didn't have the heart that I remember feeling when I read the first book. I feel like it was just kind of lacking substance. And I feel really bad saying that because, again, I liked the book, but there were times when it was boring me. Yeah. It was boring me sometimes, unfortunately. God, I feel horrible saying that. This has been a book that I have struggled with writing the review for, because trying to articulate all my feelings on paper or on the computer, it's been very difficult. Even now, it's kind of difficult because I feel like nothing happened. I know things happened. They take down the hospital, they turn the entire administration into a bunch of babies by feeding them a bunch of magical pies. Yes. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I wish I could say that this was an amazing book. It was stellar. But it has good messages. I just feel like everything was just kind of too clean. It is a clean read. It is a clean read. If you're a parent, you're wondering, what to give your child to read. This is definitely very age appropriate for young readers. Um, that's what I'm saying. I think it's more for children. It feels like it's more for children. Um, there's not a whole lot of complexity to the not saying every novel needs to be complex, or have underlying themes, or sometimes you just want to read something for entertainment value, which is okay. But I don't know. I just feel like I think what really bugs me is that even when the adults are talking, it sounds very juvenile. Their relationship and their dynamics, they don't really feel like adults. It's just like, especially with the artist and the rich dude whose name I can't really remember. That's another thing. These characters, their names are not memorable. They're not memorable at all. I don't even remember what happens to him. I know everyone lives happily ever after. Everyone does. It's a very happy ending book. Everyone lives happily ever after. Some of it's kind of unrealistic, which again is okay. I can suspend my belief for reading it. Just, I wanted more. I expected more. To not get more. So I guess I'll just leave it there, because this was a book I really did struggle to review. Even now, I feel like I'm just failing at articulating how I feel about it, because it just, meh. So this was Return to the Evening Star. If you want to go ahead and check out the book from your local library. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, purchase it from your local bookstore or online book retailer. It will include links so you can find an independently owned bookstore nearest you, or just, Barnes & Noble. Again, just because there's no bookstore in your neighborhood or near you doesn't mean, just get it from Amazon. They have websites. So please, just support your local booksellers and book retailers instead of just purchasing the books from Amazon. That's all I ask, because they deserve the support more than Amazon does. Your local bookstores, your local book retailers, your independently owned bookstores, they deserve it way more than Amazon does, because nothing beats the feeling of walking into a bookstore and just, I just love the smell of books. And I love discovering my next read, just browsing the shelves. I get customers all the time. Like, I came in here for one book, and now they have like a pile of 5 to 10 books. One woman once left. She's like, I only came in for these 2 books. And she left with like 20 books. See, there's nothing that beats that. Just books. And if it turns out you don't like a book, do what I do. Give them away as gifts, or donate them to your local library, or to kids in need. There are lots of programs for that. So, books. Support bookstores, support books, support your authors, and support libraries. On that note, I hope you all will continue to support me by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. You can also become a supporter on buymeacoffee.com, or purchasing one of my handmade candles. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.